So today I'm going to show you exactly how I'm setting myself up for financial prosperity to the point where within the next 4 years, I'll be able to stop investing completely, cut my work back to 15 hours, or just enjoy my salary guilt-free and still retire with over $1.5 million. Before I dive into my strategy, both plan A and B, I want to show you my current setup so you can see where my money is actually going. And this is just so that you can kind of see that this is actually realistic and this is not some like pie in the sky fantasy sort of budget. This is something that I am actually doing right now, and it's something that you can do as well. I'm going to pop my budget up on screen right now, and I'll just give you the budget breakdown as well. As you can see, my expenses are very low. Now I know what you're thinking, but hear me out. If you're young, living with your parents, and have either avoided or paid off any high interest debt, this is more achievable than you think. Even if you're not as lucky as I am, say you're renting a small place in an affordable area or splitting a flat with housemates, double my rent bill to $500 and it's still realistic. In that case, I'd simply skip the extra high yield savings account contributions and put that money straight into VGS instead. You'd land right back at roughly $1,000 invested per fortnight. And my salary is below average for this country, so if I can do it, I genuinely believe you can too. Now, as privileged as my situation is, I'm not living in some mansion. I'm renting a single room, 1 bathroom flat. It's a good deal, but it's not insane. I know people my age who don't pay any rent at all, get a whole house, and have meals made for them every night. If you're in that position, you genuinely owe it to yourself and honestly to your family to be making the most of it. A quick aside, now, this is what my physique is looking like on my current budget maximization cutting phase. A bonus of this cut is it's unlocked some pretty neat calisthenic skills. I can now hit a frog pose press into a handstand. The cut isn't just gonna make me more money, it's also gonna make me capable of some new fun little party tricks that probably no one except the people that watch this video is gonna see. But still, it's neat, and it's just another perk and benefit of cutting. And if you are like interested in potentially pursuing a cutting diet to save yourself some money, please do feel free to check out my earlier video on this topic, because it's probably gonna be a good place to start. It's just gonna give you some tips and tricks and just explain my rationale behind it and why it's so beneficial. I can't quite balance at the top yet, but the strength is there. I might throw in a little montage of the other night when I realized I could actually do it. I can also do muscle ups now, which is cool. But anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there. Please excuse the state of my room. I only tidy up if my partner's coming over. I don't mind the chaos. It's a lifestyle, okay? Now let me walk you through the math, and this is why this strategy is completely OP, like absolutely broken. Assuming a average rate of return of about 7% per year, obviously there's going to be ups and downs, but if that's the average, if we're assuming that, shoveling $1,000 into VGS every fortnight from a current baseline of $21,000 invested gets me to $49,000 in 1 year from now. In 2 years from now, it'll be $79,000, that's a meaningful chunk of money. But 5 years from now, it'll be at $184,000. And at this point, capital appreciation alone basically covers my yearly expenses. 10 years from now, it'll be $417,000. And this is where genuine optionality is starting to really come to the fore. 20 years and the math is getting quite intense. That's $1.2 million. 30 years, it's 2.8 mil, and 35 years, it's 4.1 million. Now, if I stuck it out for 40 years from today, at which point I would be 63 years old, I would have $6 million. And I know that's an old age, but in the modern era, people are living longer and longer. You've got a lot of life left to live at 63, especially if you take care of yourself, and you best believe I am taking care of myself. You've got a lot of life left to live at that age. Notice something important at the 10-year mark though. The first 5 years gets me to $184,000. The next 5 years, that's another $233,000 on top of that. The same amount of time produces dramatically more wealth because of compounding. The numbers after this point just get ridiculous. And it gets even better. Once my high yield savings account hits around $22,000 to $23,000, I'll only contribute the bare minimum to retain the highest interest rate. That frees up an extra $200 per fortnight to invest, which compounds into another $1 million by that 40-year mark. And that's before accounting for any meaningful income growth. Of course, this assumes I keep lifestyle inflation in check, but as I covered in my last video, it genuinely doesn't take much to keep me happy. Let me stay home, play my video games, and lift my weights, and I'm chilling. I like the occasional small holiday or a night at the movies. That's about as fancy as it gets though. I've driven the same old Camry since I was 19, and I intend to drive the wheels off it. When it finally does die, I'll probably just go buy another one. I'm not inclined to spend much, and I'd only ever consider things like starting a family once I'm firmly established financially and well into multi-millionaire territory. So that's plan B. Keep investing $1,000 a fortnight indefinitely, let compounding do its thing, and retire with a ridiculous number. But plan A, and this is the actual strategy, this is where it gets interesting. My real strategy is to grow my VGS position to 150K within the next 4 years, and then invest as much or as little as I want from that point. Why 150K? Because once I hit that number, even if I never invested another single cent, that position would grow to $1.7 million by retirement age on its own. And given my lifestyle, I only need a fraction of that to retire early. I'm not even relying on a super a payout for retirement to be comfortable. The best part, I'll almost certainly hit 150k faster than 4 years because $1,000 a fortnight is my minimum baseline. I'm putting another 200 to 250 into my high yield savings account on top of that to keep a buffer for holidays or the odd nice purchase. Once that high yield savings account hits $23,000, I'm only adding a tiny amount to retain the maximum interest rate, and the rest of the growth comes from interest alone. And because I'm just naturally frugal, I'll almost certainly keep investing a non-trivial amount even after hitting my plan A target. It'll just free me up to enjoy my salary more and actually live a bit. Like I said in an earlier video, you have to earn the right to enjoy your salary to a certain extent. It means I won't have to stress about my financial future anymore. Once I'm looking at full retirement, I'll build my glide path and lock it in to avoid the sequence of returns risk that bites so many long-term investors at the worst possible time. So here's what this actually means. Once I've locked in that first 150k, it frees me up to chase my real passions, including making videos for a living. Having an extra 20 hours or more back in my week opens that door properly. Having this timeline in mind is genuinely motivating. Every day feels significant. I know I'm not locked into wage slavery indefinitely. I'm just paying my dues so that one day I can live off the global economy's compounding growth, and that's a pretty wild thing to think about. Because my high yield savings account contains more than 12 months worth of expenses, I'm sure a lot of you are probably thinking that I already have way more than enough and I should just put all of my money into VGS immediately, and honestly, you're probably right. But I'm a fairly risk-averse person, and having 12 months of expenses sitting there keeps me mentally stress-free. The extra buffer above that exists so that if I want something nice, I don't have to touch my emergency fund at all. It's also important for my psychological motivation and discipline. I need to know there's some money set aside for present me. It keeps the whole system sustainable. If it's all locked away and untouchable, the plan eventually breaks down mentally. It's not even like I'm gonna use it very often. It might even be just like a once per year thing where I raid the high yield savings account just to skim the top off and utilize some of that cash, but it's just nice to have for that psychological benefit. Before I close this one out, I did just want to mention that I'm really thankful that I have been gaining a few subscribers here and there. Last video I made, I gained my first subscriber and now I'm up to 8. I don't know how this is happening. Honestly, I was getting 0 views every single video for like 5 videos in a row. I thought that's just how it was going to be moving forward. So that is really cool to see. And if you're new, please leave a comment. I'd love to have a chat, start a bit of a conversation with you guys. And I'd love to hear what you guys are doing with your money, what your plans are. And yeah, let's just get a bit of a conversation started. Anyway, that's the full strategy. Let me know in the comments if this kind of breakdown is useful, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.